Happens. Wait, you know what I hate about headphones is that I'm not cute with headphones.
Well, I just showed
Not,
you. That's like somebody saying they're not cute when the picture gets taken. The camera's taking what it sees. That's all I'm saying.
but lighting helps.
Lighting might help, but hey, that's what y'all think. Y'all think them filters help too till we take them filters off, and then then we got y'all for real. But by then we didn't already bought a ring.
By
Like,
then it's too late.
be like,
It's too late.
be like you've been walking around with those filters on all this time. Do you ever take your filters off?
Man, listen, I'm still
Brittany.
lovable.
Brittany.
Yes.
Do we even know how the show starts, or do we just have these random conversations as the microphone comes on?
It's how we do. It is.
Is that how we do?
I guess we're here.
I'm glad you're here, Brittany.
I know, me too. I thought I wasn't gonna make it.
Yeah.
But I'm here, man. I'm awake.
I won't even do that about you making it. I do want to talk to you about some things this week because it's been like a crazy last couple of days. And you were actually with me when like the crazy news broke. We were at brunch. So welcome everybody to Southern Hospitality. I am DJ Ekin, Tampa's most connected DJ. What do we call you?
Brittany Gonzalez, Brittany Gonzalez.
We already threw the Brittany G thing away. That is what we're not gonna do. I thought that we were not gonna do the Brittany G thing. Brittany Gonzalez works for me.
You can call me what you want. Depends. It depends who I'm talking to.
Oh, it depends on who we're talking to. How you doing, Brittany? You good today?
I'm so good. Yeah, I'm good. I'm having fun.
Brittany, I know I'm not you're not super into sports, right? You're not super into sports.
No, but I can get into certain sports on certain games, like the big ones. You know, I'm all in on that. Yeah,
right.
I can get into it.
But you do know about the gargantuan personality that was Kobe Bryant.
When I tell you, yes, because even though me not knowing anything about basketball, me not even being a fan of basketball, me not even necessarily like being a fan of Kobe,
right?
I felt that in the room when that news broke. Like, and that's me on some surface level. You know, that's not his real fans that have been following him and praising him and looking up to him, admiring him since day one, you know?
Right. My brother, like I really wanted to call. And we got this news. We were at brunch this weekend. We were at brunch and shouts out to Jackson's. We were at brunch. And shouts out to Jackson for having all this food that Brittany will put on her plate and not eat, but want to eat off the next person's plate. But that's a whole nother story for the podcast.
You know what? Yes. Let's not even get into that.
We kind of got the news, and I wondered, did everybody get the news like it? We kind of got the news from somebody we were eating with getting a phone call. We weren't sure. And then we all immediately started running to our phones, but we couldn't find it. Which is the first thing I want to get into, because I want to know like your thoughts on this part. And Jason and I were talking about this earlier. So when we first got the news, shouts out to our boy AJ and Jay who were having brunch with us. So AJ gets a phone call. Mm-hmm. That's when we start getting the buzz that we need to go online and this Kobe thing might be going on. We immediately all run online. I run TMZ's site, I think we were all saying the same. The TMZ site is saying, try again, something overload. It wasn't there.
The site crashed. Oh, for sure, it crashed.
Right. And then though, I personally couldn't find it anywhere else. I was going to ESPN.com. Everywhere. I couldn't find it anywhere.
We were all searching different sites, all of us, like trying to find a confirmation.
Right.
Like it did.
Right. So at that point, I'm thinking maybe it could be some confusion because do you believe TMZ as much as I honestly am at this point right now in my life. I feel like if TMZ hit it, I'm 95% thinking I'm going to believe it.
I'm saying 99% to be honest, because they're so on top of it, man. They've created a foundation where they just know stuff. They got people everywhere with eyes. You know what I mean? So no, when they report something, I take it as pretty much facts. That's it.
Right. So we finally got the TMZ confirmation. What I want to ask you about is this part, because this is what's going on. This is a lot of what's happening right now. From what I'm hearing, and what I actually read this too, the cops, when they were doing the press conference and all the, the emergency people, they were scolding TMZ for reporting this because they hadn't had a chance to notify Kobe's family, anybody's family members at all. Now you and I both being a part of the media. What do you think about that?
That is tough, man, because you know what, this business, numbers, like all of that aside, this business is like, there aren't a lot of feelings in it when you're reporting on things like that, especially like TMZ. They're so big. They don't care. They're corporate. They're just too big to like even think about that. I don't even think they really see humans the same, with their business. You can't. So,
Right.
but as us in this industry, it's tough, man, because you never want to seem like you're trying to cash in on something that is like so tragic and
Right.
so like, and then again, you're still processing everything, let alone the family that's directly affected.
Right.
His wife, I wasn't even thinking about his wife when it hurt. You just hear the news and you just want to know what's going on.
Right.
So that's a tough one.
If you were Harvey, would you ever, because people, I don't know much about Harvey, but he seems like, from what everybody's saying now, like Harvey just ruthless and about his business. Like, yo, this got to get done. Like, I want to be, and then, like I said, I believe now that if TMZ puts something out, I'm pretty much like, I be seeing some entertainers talking about TMZ with fake news, TMZ with, I really don't see, maybe I'm missing the fake news because I don't read TMZ all the time.
Oh, you're trying to say like they say that they report wrong a lot?
Yeah, like it'll be like TMZ with fake news on me. This is fake news, and I don't know if I get that from TMZ.
I don't get that either from TMZ because they are listen, they have a big corporate, like I'm talking about, they have money to lose. You know what I'm saying? If someone's going to be sued, it's going to be TMZ.
Right.
For, false information. So they have to be very careful. Look at, even with truthful information, wasn't it with Gawker? Gawker got completely shut down because of
Hulk Hogan thing?
Hulk Hogan.
Right.
Yes. You know what I'm saying? Like that was a real tape. That was him in it, but he got that whole site shut down. So they have a lot to lose. So no, I think that they definitely are credible. They try to be.
I'm like, I didn't even think about that. It was going so fast, and I don't even think in the beginning I had a chance to process what his like family and daughters that are still here might be going through at that moment to lose him and his sister and his daughter being on that plane.
You're not thinking that they don't already know. You're thinking that they know already. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not thinking, oh, they must not have heard yet. You're the first to hear it before the actual direct person, before Vanessa heard about it. Like, no.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? She's finding out with the rest of the world, but we're not thinking about that. We're just, there's a piece of information here that is just like what we want to know. And we're not thinking, you know what I mean? Like, it's not, I wouldn't say we're terrible people, but at the same time, maybe we are.
I'm not a terrible person.
Sometimes I am.
It hit me hard, but I was reading an article and it was talking about other deaths that have hit kind of crazy. And what to me maybe hit that hard was I was actually landing in LA when the Michael Jackson news broke. Like I was literally, the plane was coming down. My plane was coming down to land, and as people were cutting on their phones, they were buzzing like, yo, something's going on with Michael Jackson because we were going to the BET Awards. And then I wound up, my boy Kuda Love stays actually right across the street from that compound that Mike actually passed, that everything went wrong in. So outside of Kuda's house, it was like mad people, mad memorial, everything. And then he's telling me these stories about how Mike's security, sometimes would talk to him about stuff, how, different areas that Mike came from in the house. And I was out there with all those people and those flowers and they crying and this and that and the other. And I didn't cry or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But does it feel strange to you that the world like grasp on these people like this and you look at all these tears and all this stuff on Twitter and stuff like that, and then their very neighbor, though, we don't have that kind of compassion for? Or like people in their own family, like they don't, like right now the big message is cherish the people that you actually know.
But I keep seeing these memes talking kind of like on that subject of like, they say the same, they question what is, you adore this person, this celebrity so much, but where is that, or love and compassion for the, like you said, the person next door maybe. But at the same time, they're like, okay, but my idol, or like who's my father, you know what I'm saying? Like my father's not someone to look up to, or, like my family ain't doing too well, for their own self-sabotaging behavior. So it's like, yeah, I am going to look up to someone else, admire them, and maybe not so much someone that close to you. Cause if they're not that positive influence, I mean, that's on you,
Okay, so you're gonna make me open up a whole nother can of worms here, because
what?
I'm look, you didn't say anything wrong, because one of those memes that you're talking about is the one that always strikes me. Support, like say you open a business tomorrow, right? I don't want to support you. I just want to come in and get things for free. I love this meme that goes, support the people like these celebrities. You support your friends. Dreams, like you support these celebrities you don't know. You know what I'm saying? Because think about it. We out here and we love, something happened to Beyonce. The Beehive is not playing.
No,
You know,
and
the
not
B-Op
at
does
all.
not play. You know, like when Nicki Minaj get into something or Cardi's crew, you know what I'm saying? Like those crews. And I just wonder, why is it so hard to like support? We don't have that same support. And maybe I'm just asking a crazy question. Maybe I'm just asking a crazy, because me personally, like, there's nobody that seriously that has passed that I've looked up to. Like, I love Michael Jackson. I love like Jay-Z, Diddy. Like, I think these dudes are dope.
Well, that's why so many people know them, because they have that greatness that, you know, they flourish. They whatever what that greatness in them was, they brought it out and used it to its full potential, which is why we all know who they are, which is
But
why they've made changes the way they have.
but my
The
question to
culture.
you though is, am I shallow or is something wrong with me because I won't cry?
Well,
Like I want, like I can't, like don't get me
you
wrong. Like I
don't
said,
feel like you care, but you don't. You're saying like it doesn't stress. Like to bring you to that emotion would take more than that.
right? Like I really am a fan of Kobe. Like I like Kobe, and like I said, my brother Raheem is like a Kobe. Like I really called and checked on him because that's how much he's loved the Lakers over the years and Kobe and everything else. And I am a Jordan fanatic. God forbid if something happened to Michael Jordan tomorrow, I don't think I would cry. And I don't
But when's the last time
understand.
you cried, Egan?
I don't understand the emotions that people have for these celebrities they don't know. What's the question? What's the question?
Night. I said, when's the last time you cried? And you went right over it. I'm like, it must have been recent.
I have to think. I mean, don't get me wrong. Hey, you ever seen that episode of Martin and Tom be like, I've cried. I've cried. I don't know. Like I'm trying to get to what makes people be this attached to a celebrity
I would say,
that they've never met. Like, don't get me.
Let me tell you. Okay, because people cried over Aaliyah too, right? And I would tell you, I didn't necessarily cry over Aaliyah, but I was sad for her. But when Selena was already dead by the time I was like, but what I'm saying is that like I will cry over Selena. I can't watch the movie. I cannot watch the movie anymore. I cried too much. It's painful because the person that she was so amazing. I got attached to that. I'm like, man, we lost a beautiful person. Anytime you see someone that's a beautiful from inside out, you're like, you want that to be in this world now while you're living. You know what I'm saying? You want to be a part of that. And like, that's why I got emotional. I miss her.
Okay. Now, that brings me to my other point that I've been reading all on Twitter. And, you know, because I'm like, to me, like I said, I feel bad for everybody on that helicopter. And I am a Kobe fan. And as a black man, I really am or was proud of what he was even doing in his after basketball life, right? So I was really super proud of that. But on the flip side of it, which everyone seems to be wanting to talk about now, or not everyone, a lot of people on Twitter bringing up that Kobe wasn't perfect. He was flawed, like all of us are. But now they're talking about like as if we're so busy talking about his accolades and how great he was at basketball and how he supported women's basketball and this and that and the other and what he did for his daughters and family, that we're skipping right over that rape case that he had back in Colorado. Yes. So when I ask you that part, I guess I'm bringing the question back around to, so you crying over a dude who, which none of us are perfect, but again, I'm just asking, like, when these people when they're crying or whatever, am I wrong for not crying, or is the public or all these other people, is it too soon for them to be trying to bring up what he did that was bad? Because over years, he's done a lot of good too. Right. I'm trying to make sure I'm not asking the question all confusing. It's just a lot going on around this Kobe thing.
Because there's so many layers to it, Egan. There's so many different parts to it on both sides, right? Okay, so I vaguely remember the rape case as it was going on. I was not in there. I was not in that. Right. So when that got brought up, now I vaguely remember like, oh, I do remember that happening. Right. So I went back and looked up on the case because I feel like if you're ever going to talk about, you know, someone's rape case, you got to know what was going on because there's context to everything. You know what I'm saying? And it's important on both ends, on both sides, that both, you know, stories, both truths are told, whatever it may be. So is it too soon? No, it's not too soon.
Okay.
It's not too soon because nobody was talking about it already. You know what I'm saying? Like it was already, yes, it was in the media, but from what I've been reading up on is that it wasn't the girl never got her, nobody believed her or nobody took her side. The media kind of covered it in a way where they shamed her as the victim. There was that going on. Kobe had her sign an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement.
Which they still hold to this day.
To this day. So even now that everything's going on, she's still not allowed to talk about it. What happened to her, anything, right? Because of the NDA. This was recently. So that's why it's like, even then though, they were saying that when the case was happening back then, people were saying it's too soon to talk about it. You know what I mean? Like even then. So is it ever too soon? No, because we need to open those conversations. Now, pertaining to Kobe is like, there's more layers to it. But in the conversation of itself, no, it's not too soon. Unfortunately, it's not.
But do you think that she really can't talk because, and you being a woman, I really want, you can answer this way better than me. Because the perception, once you start involving money or once they take the money in the settlement, right? Ooh, not saying that it's right, but I'm asking your thoughts on it. Like God forbid, like I'm asking you if it's okay if I put you in that position as opposed to me because you're a female, right? So you go to court and then you do this NDA thing and you sign and you take this $200,000 or whatever it was that was the undisclosed amount, which ain't enough money to fix your life or whatever trauma you went through, but people often do it. Right. They often do it. Mm-hmm. So go ahead.
Yeah. So your question is like, would I, if maybe
because it's so many layers here that I'm kind of trying to make sure I even get the question out right. Right.
If you're looking at it like, what does it say if I take the money and then, you know what I mean? Like that happened to me. I'm the victim, but I'm accepting money to kind of gloss over. So now I can no longer talk about it or maybe, use it in a way to slander someone because it's like, well, I accepted the money. So I this was our closure. You know what I'm saying? Like you accepted closure in that way.
I've never heard it put like that, but that might be a place that I guess that I never thought of. That's kind of like closure to some extent, I guess. To
some extent, that was closure for Kobe. That was never closure for her. Kobe never wanted to talk about it. Obviously, and then I read too that Kobe was like, I thought it was consensual. It turns out, we viewed it differently. And then you hear the details or whatever. I don't necessarily want to get into that right now. But back to your question about, after you accept the money, like, can you still play a victim or not play a victim, but can you still be a victim? And that's tough because, what were the circumstances? Why did she have to take the money? Was she going to lose the case completely and lose everything? You know what I mean? And then it's all for nothing. You lose everything. Now you're out financially less. You know what I mean? You're definitely more broke now because you're trying to go up against Kobe's lawyers. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of money that goes into this. So looking at it like that on the real logistic level, man, like money wise, I don't know what she was doing, where she was at in life. She really needed it at that time. She just maybe at the times for victims, you have to understand we all process things differently. And I say wait, because like it's, but
it's okay.
Everybody handles it differently, right? So I think in her case, it could have been so many things go through your mind. Is it my fault? Did I wait too late to speak? Or who's this going to affect when I do speak up? Who does this hurt around me? Because it's not just the people involved. Right. It's his family. You know what I'm saying? His wife has to deal with that. It's her family. It's the whole world watching this. So there's imagine the girls who have this happen to them by someone, just a family member or whatever, or a date, you know what I'm saying, gone wrong. This is someone who everybody knows. There's a lot of stuff that like, what goes on in the, ooh, that's a tough one, Ekin. It's just so tough.
But again, like one thing that I always want to do, and like I said, that's why I'm so glad that you're a part of Southern Hospitality now, is I think sometimes we do these shows, right? Or, guys are the guy on the mic and we get to voice and then we get to voicing. When I'm 9 times out of 10, a guy isn't the victim. You know what I'm saying? So we get these opinions, and to me, a lot of these thoughts should come from someone like you, because you're actually on the side of what a female might be trying to process. God forbid a victim, because I never want that to happen. But I'm just saying, like, much more of what a female might be trying to process, because from a guy's side, a lot of times I hear this back, especially in the world of sports and entertainment, the way that I am. Man, she knew what she was doing at 3:00 in the morning. And I honestly, coming from the life that I'm in and knowing how things go on, I'll say it out loud because I'm not afraid to. What are you expecting to happen at 3:00 in the morning going to Kobe Bryant's hotel room?
Okay, and here's the thing. That's why I'm saying that's why the consensual part, that's the gray area that starts to come into play, because maybe you both are into each other. Maybe I am into you. I do want to, mess around with you, have some fun, but I don't want to take it all the way that far that night.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But we've been drinking. Maybe you think that because I've been feeling you and I am definitely interested in you, you think that, okay, it's a go. It's cool. Like, she likes me. I like her. It's nothing.
Because I've been drinking and I've been smoking. My bad. It was right there,
No,
Brittany. It was right there. The ATL in me was right there. I'm sorry. It was right there.
That's what I'm saying. But at the same time, once a female says no, I think that's when everything, like, whatever you thought, whatever the mood was, that's the vibe right there. It is now set. It's a new tone, and that's hard to take because it's hard to reel back when you're in the moment, you're having a good time. I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? There's passion involved. Whatever it is, it turns up.
Right.
So where's I going with that? Whew! Having flashbacks of like just knowing that like there's so many things that can happen and escalate. But yeah, what were you doing there? You were trying to have a good time. It turned into something you didn't want it to. You know what I mean? So it just, you have to, but because we don't talk about it, females don't know how to handle these situations. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't necessarily know, or maybe you think that like, oh, am I crazy? Or not crazy, but am I the one that's like, did I lead him on too much or something? There's a lot of, us girls, I was there at 3 a.m. But if I said no, if I stopped that and I said no, and then that's what it is. Now, if I didn't say no and I'm just trying to, quiet and assuming what I know, that's different, because that's that's a gray area. Again, every situation is different though. Right. Everyone. But yeah.
So, as someone who's not a super sports fan, but you did know about Kobe, you do know about a little bit more about his legacy. You, of course, are getting a lot of insight now on him and the life of his daughter, and how he was suddenly, not suddenly, but becoming like this father that's, like really giving back, philanthropy. He's supporting women's basketball, this and that and the other. And then, like I said, from these other people, because you're like me, like you do research, you hear stuff, you read Twitter, you read social media, we're in this media thing. Does it kind of tarnish your thought of his legacy a little bit because the rape case thing has kind of been brought back? I mean, like you said, it's not something to me that should be forgotten. It's just, like I said, the timing of it is kind of weird. It's just, because he's gone, he's not here to defend himself.
And every victim that has gone through something like that, it's like, now is the perfect time to talk about it, because his name is so relevant right now. Everybody's talking about, okay, well, if you're going to be talking about Kobe, let's talk about everything Kobe. Right. So that's why it's like, no, it's not too soon. But at the same time, can you separate the two as far as like his legacy? Like you were saying, there's a legacy there. There's, that man was dedicated to his work, to his career, like to his, his city, to his people around him. Like, he was still a good person in other ways. So it's hard to like, man. And then the father that he was. Right. Did you hear that woman, that news anchor woman who was talking about the story when she met Kobe? She was pregnant. Yeah. And she was having a little girl. Elle Duncan. Is that who that was? Yeah. So then, she wanted to meet Kobe, and like he walked up to her first because he was so excited she was pregnant. Yep. And she was like, "What are you having?" And she goes, "A girl." And he was like, "Oh my God, I love girls. I'm a dad. A girl dad. Right, yes. And so he called himself a girl dad, and she left. The news anchor was just like, he was a girl dad. He died being a girl dad. Right. And that's something you can't take away from him either, because he was any dad, any father to their child, I would hope that you're everything to them, right. Like, you can't take that away from his daughters. He was their everything. He was there for them, their biggest supporter, their provider. And that's, he didn't have to be, just because you have money doesn't mean you're still a great father. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's plenty of rich fathers out there who aren't there for their kids. So
I'm not jumping in there. I saw you leave me something to jump in there. I'm not jumping in there because I could have gave you like 8 names. I'm not jumping in there right now. I'm not jumping in. Go ahead with your thought though, because it was a very good one. Go ahead. It was a very good thought.
But I forgot what I was.
You just talking about how he was a great dad, and of course I jumped in with the craziness. But like, even just having money does not make you a great dad. But he was really doing a good job.
He was, man. He was stepping up, and for the, like I said, his community too. And that's how your growth of like, look, that was back then. He said in his mind, from what I read, like I said, he said he thought it was consensual. There are a lot of gray areas. I understand. However, it still was not. It was not consensual. So now there's consequences, right? He never had to really deal with those consequences because of all the money, because of the meat, whatever it was. It worked out in his favor this time. However, I feel like part of it or whatever it was, I hope maybe it was a motivator for him to be that better person, to grow and to never do that again and to make up for it in other ways, because he can't take that back.
Right.
You know what I mean? And he could have stayed a crappy person and stayed doing this to more women. And, like,
he has anyone else Weinstein or R. Kelly?
Thank you. Yes. You know what I mean? And yes.
You left me room for names, so I figured I'd give some examples.
And those are great ones of ones who kept doing it, who are still in the system, still in the cycle of doing this to women.
Right.
So I do think that everyone deserves to redeem themselves, and they have to, and it's on themselves to do that. And I think he did a great job of that. And again, separating it, if we're just talking about that, yes.
Right. So I guess, is our final point with this going to be then that it doesn't completely tarnish his legacy, but if we're going to talk about his legacy, we have to encompass his entire legacy.
Everything, absolutely everything. And I think it's also a learning experience to everyone. Like I read a woman, she goes, the first time I ever heard about rape culture or like rape mainstream, she goes, was Kobe's case. Right. That was what taught me what that even meant. You know what I'm saying? And we're still figuring it out in 2020. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't talk about this stuff because it's not a fun subject. But at the same time, like this is how you get those conversations started.
I think you made a good point, though, too, in that on the one hand, if it was someone else, they may not have gotten to smooth it over, per se, if that's a term I can use, if they did, because they wouldn't have the money that Kobe had. But I will say this, though. And you made this point in what you were giving us back, is he seemed to have, whatever that experience was, he didn't put himself in that position again.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? And I think that to me is like a good part of his legacy that we should also look at too. Like, yes, he made a mistake. That's just like somebody who committed murder, they go do their time. And I think the biggest problem with this part here is you made this point too, was people don't feel like he ever really had to face it.
Yeah,
I think that's what's bothering everybody here. You know what I'm saying? Like it's one thing if you say, okay, Kobe, and again, I wasn't there, so I don't know what happened in the room per se. I am a fan of Kobe Bryant, not a fan of everything he's ever done or said, but as a basketball player and what I got to see, I'm a fan. I respect the movement. I'm not here to bash Kobe Bryant by far because he's passed. But I think what the biggest thing, like you said, what I'm finding out and hearing from the folks on social media that seem to be in an uproar about this is that they feel he never really had to face that. He kind of like bought his way, swept it under the table, and then all of a sudden we're like, remember, Kobe's an awesome guy. And they're like, but wait a minute, we're not ever going to talk about this because we never really have.
Right.
But how do we fix that?
That we talk about it, man. That's it. That's literally how you started. You open the conversation. Like when big events happen like this, you use this as momentum. I mean, there's so many other cases too where I'm trying to think. I wish I could think off the top of my head where it was like people were bringing up this problem, right? But it took a big moment. I know what I'm talking about. I'm so mad at myself for not even remember. Remember Colin Kaepernick getting on his knee, right? And people were like, "Why would you do that during the national anthem?" Well, look what it did. It had everybody talking about it. Look what it did to the NFL. Look what it made them speak up about. You know what I'm saying? Like we started to really talk about and face these issues that are going on inside that we don't see outside here as just normal people. But people who are in it, who see it, who are being oppressed by it, whatever it is, like, yeah,
it you know what? The conversation. It sparked a major conversation, right?
Major. So absolutely use that momentum. You can use that as whatever that's cheap to you or whatever. But to me, if that is your goal, whatever your objective is, you have a goal to do it. You got to get it done. You get it done. And he did that. And that's why I'm like, yeah, that's how we start this. Start the conversation. Use this in a positive way to move forward, but also learn from this. You know what I mean?
So in your opinion, what do you think that men could do to help fix either the narrative per se or this culture that you feel? Because I mean, you're in this entertainment thing like me, so you see a lot of things. We're out late.
Yeah.
We're in places where VIP matters. Everybody wants to be important. We're around money. We're around what looks like money that ain't money. We're around a lot of this different stuff.
That part.
Around stuff that looks like money, that ain't money. You know what I'm saying? So like, if I could ask your opinion as a woman, give me a couple of things that you think that we as men could do to help fix this cult? Because and if we don't talk about it, we don't have this candid talk, in my opinion. If we're not like you and I both talk about all the time, if we're not really real with each other, then how does it ever really get fixed? So I'm asking you, if you can think of some things right now, what do you think could help fix, or point this in a right direction? Other than, first off, we actually seem like we're facing it right now. We're actually it's in our face. We're having to have this discussion. And I guess it comes on the heels of a very sad time because people are kind of questioning whether we should talk about Kobe's entire, legacy or just, certain pieces of it.
Yeah, no, I think that the biggest way, first of all, stop expecting, I think when you just stop expecting, okay, it starts with, I hate talking, I don't even know how to say this. Stop expecting you're gonna bang the first night or bang just because y'all are feeling each other. Like if you take that out, actually court a girl, you know what I'm saying? Actually put effort into a woman, then I think that would be your first start. That would help. But also just to be open and honest and communicate what you want. What are you into? What are you, I don't have the exact answer yet, but I think that to be, kind of clear on what's going on. Or if you see, oh man, that's a tough one. Cause I'm like, is drinking involved? You got to be careful of that. If a girl's been drinking, you got to be extra mindful to be like, well, she's maybe not entirely herself right now. Sober Brittany and drunk Brittany are two different people. But
even sober and drunk Brittany, no still means no.
Oh, yes. Oh, absolutely.
Right.
But that's what I'm saying. But you got to be able to know that anything can change in a moment's notice. And I think that part, just be read the room as much as you can.
Right.
And I mean, if that's what you mean, how can men be better? How can men be more cautious? Is that what you mean?
I think cautious is a good way because, sometimes, I think we all do. I think we all have to be more. I think as a female, speaking from this side of what I see, I think going to a hotel room at 3:00 in the morning, it doesn't necessarily mean anything, but you can always wait 5 more hours and go for breakfast. You really could. You could always wait. You could always wait for 5 more hours and be like, breakfast at 9:00. I'll see you. And one of my girls is probably going to come.
But if I do want to come over and I want to come over and then I can come over and then I'll leave when I want to leave, I'm going to do what I want to do.
Yes. And again, I don't think any of that is wrong. I don't. But I think it's a conversation. I do agree with you. It's a tough conversation, but I think it's one that we need to have also too, because we got the next generation of young men and you got some that are going to be athletes or some that are going to be in positions of power, and if we don't get a hold on this culture, if we don't get a hold on what's happening here, the Me Too movement ain't going to be able to fix that. It can't fix everything because to me, the Me Too movement is not a prevent. It's a fix after, and it's not even a bash the Me Too movement. It's a fix after because these things are happening. Now we're trying to play catch up. We should be doing something to make sure that these things don't happen, that you guys aren't in that position. Or also on the flip side of that some of these women that are out here doing the traps and stuff aren't setting up good guys. Well, because that's the flip side.
What do you mean? Wait, explain that because I kind of follow.
You got some good guys out here that are like, yo, I really like you. And they've been set up by women on the flip side, or you got a woman that clearly knows she consented, but then she be like, you know what? You pay. Or I'm going to say it wasn't consensual. I'm gonna start something.
No. Oh, and those are trashy, terrible, garbage human beings. You should never set someone up no, you're a terrible person. And that's the other side of it. It sucks because that's a real thing too, man. Right. There's women who will say stuff and then, later admit that they lied. They straight up lied on purpose just because whatever they were going through, they wanted to make it, the story, be the victim.
Right.
And oh man, that's the part. But here's my take on that too with that is that I'm always going to believe the person first though, because you should always take that approach, because when you don't believe someone and they're telling the truth, especially about something so traumatic like that, man, that can really make someone go inside a shell and never come out. You know what I'm saying? So you always want to believe a person. So yes, there's room for that, Ekin, but I think you always give the person the benefit of the doubt and let them show themselves later.
I agree.
Otherwise, But yeah, there's trash ass human beings out there like that. Girls who want to come up, go get your own.
While I got you in this space, Brittany, and normally, like, to me, this is a much more serious show, so I don't have as much laughs as I normally would have.
I know,
here.
But we need to talk about this, and that's what I love about this, is that we got to talk about this stuff too.
Right. So let's take it a little younger. Let's take it a little younger to girls that are in high school, girls that are in junior high that are starting to be around this life that, and like with social media and like the hormones are starting to go.
Oh my goodness, yes.
What advice would you give? What advice would you give a younger female? And you know what? Let's start first with adults and listening to the next generation and when they're talking, because I think a lot of times we gotta start listening more to make sure that they're not afraid to talk. Talk about afraid to talk. Teenagers and stuff be like, I can't tell them that. Nobody's gonna believe me. I don't want to know. And I tell my son all day, I tell my son, my godsons, my nephews, yo, man, like, just tell me. Let me deal with it. Just tell me. I'm not here to shoot you down, but you got to tell me the truth, and then we'll deal with it from there. Like, I want it to be that open. Like, yo, like, tell me. If you can't tell nobody else, tell me. Call me in the middle of the night. I'm going to call you back if I don't pick up. Because I think it needs to be that open, because if it's not, them telling their friends, I always used to hear this right here. 2 10-year-olds with a cigarette, don't neither one of them know shit. Neither one of them. Neither one of them know shit. 2 10-year-olds with a cigarette, you might as well just say y'all gonna die. Because don't nobody know nothing. You know what I'm saying? Whereas opposed to, and I will always be thankful. This story I tell every now and again, and they're gonna say my mom was a bad parent. And I don't even know if my mom even know about this story. I was 6 years old, right? I was 6 years old.
You remember stuff from 6 years old?
Girl, don't act like I'm that old. Don't get busted.
No, I'm saying I don't remember stuff past.
Girl, you don't remember stuff past yesterday.
13, then I remember.
You don't remember a lot from this past weekend. Let's just go there. That's another story.
Okay, go ahead.
But get this. And I've told this story. I don't think I've ever told this story like on the radio per se.
Okay.
I'm 6 years old. Now, my oldest brother and sister, they got me by like 12, 13 years. And they were always doing something. Always like sneaking in. They was always into some shit. Let me just put it like that. Always.
See?
So my mom is at work. They in the crib smoking weed.
Oh my God.
So I walk in. What y'all doing?
Stop.
I want to do it. The thing I love about my oldest sister to this day is that nothing ever got hidden from me.
Mm-hmm.
Like if there was if I was gonna try something, she was always like there to be the guide. Like, so basically with this experience, now this is no bullshit. I am 6 years old and I'm literally, they are smoking weed. She lets me puff. She lets me puff.
See, how old was she?
If he's 6 years older than me, if it's 12 years older than me, so that makes her like 18, 17, 18, 19, something like that, somewhere like that.
Okay, she was still a kid herself.
But
all right.
Here's my point with that. Why I don't, to this day, a parent probably holds that against her, but me, why I love her to this day. By her letting me do that, I never wanted to go and sneak and smoke weed again. Because
you hated it.
Because honestly, when I did that puff, I started coughing and I was out of here. But in my defense, you know what she said I said next? You know what she said I said next? You know what she said I said next?
What?
You ready for this, Brittany?
Tell me.
She said I was staying. I said, yo, I want to go get some pussy. That is what she said I said next, right? 6 years old. But my point of that story is this. By having her, right? And I'm not saying everybody should handle it like this. What my sister, when she showed me that,
nobody should. Okay, go on.
I didn't turn out so bad, Brittany. You ain't gonna just act like my sister ruined me. You ain't gonna act like my sister ruined me. But anyway, look, again, this is not about telling people that this is the way that kids should be raised. I'm just telling you my experience. What I'm saying is, what it made me feel like though was, I didn't feel like I had to try and run and hide things. Like I always felt like if something was on my mind that somebody told me, like if somebody said, yo, we should all smoke weed. I would go to her and be like, should I smoke weed? And she'd be like, nah, you really shouldn't. And then I might be like, well, you smoke weed. That'll make it good for you though. I'm helping you avoid things. Like I did it. Don't do as I, you know what I'm saying? But she like if I had a real question about something going on, whether it was sex or whatever, she would answer it. She wouldn't be on
Right.
this thing like, you don't need to know that. It was a very like, you can talk to me type relationship. And I
Mhm.
love her to this day for that. Not that's my point of it. The weed story just happens to be the funniest shit ever.
Yo, I
Because I
can't
ended it.
remember.
Look, Brittany, I ended it like a player. You know,
No,
hey,
you
hey,
did not.
Brittany, and I might even had the footies in my pajamas. I might even had the onesie on with the feet in. I'm talking about. Hey, you know what I want to do right now? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just look. That ain't the point of the story, Brittany. The point of the
Bruh, you
story
know
is to
there were
me.
some little ponies on it too, just
I
little
might have had a
teddy
little horse right here. You know, might have. And it wasn't polo either, but I'm just saying it was like a little horse here. You know, probably.
That's okay.
And I
That's okay. You were
probably had
safe.
spilled some juice on it or something somewhere. You know, because you know how a 6-year-old do. I probably had spilled 3 or 4 things
She's
on
like, did you say you want some juicy? Like, you want some juice? Is that what you're trying to say? I don't
but
think-
but I mean, and my point of that is, and coming back around to the point that we were making is, just having an open line of communication is what she always did.
Man, yes, that is so important. I think that the youth definitely. So you're asking me about advice to the youth or to like other women?
Honestly, I think that goes every way now. Though, when you think
You
about it,
have-
like if you listen to what any of those people are actually trying to tell you or talk to you, listen first before you start attacking and telling them how wrong they are or that their story is wrong.
That's the biggest thing, Ekin. I think that's the best way to go about it, man, because they need someone to go and talk to because they have questions. Like
Right.
you have questions about your own body, even. Like you don't know how your even reproductive system necessarily works, how your whole entire just like the inside out. Like that's hard. Those are weird subjects to talk about. So like you need someone and you got to say those things out loud, whatever it is, whatever your questions, relationships, friendships, am I putting myself in a, I know kids like to sneak out and stuff, you know what I'm saying? But
Right.
where are you sneaking out to? Who you with? Who you hanging with? Do you have any good people around you in your circle who, want you to do better? And they're not all F-ups where you're like, damn, everybody's cool with skipping school. Everybody's cool with doing this bad stuff. But where's the one person that's like, has some sense? You
Right.
need that one person around you. So that one good person around you, even if it's just one, because I know some people, like you hang with different crowds or whatever, but the open communication, whether it's with your parents, but some people don't have that with their parents.
Right.
Parents don't like to
That's what
talk
I'm saying.
about.
Like my sister Jackie, she was, and I could talk to my mom and dad too. Don't get me wrong, but as a
I
kid,
couldn't.
I
I
felt
could
like
not.
like my sister Jackie to this day, like I love her. What's the one weird thing that you, as you a kid growing up, that you felt started happening to you, and you was like, what's going on? What
Oh
was
my
that? What was that
God.
one weird thing? Want me to tell you mine first, or you got yours?
Yes. Well, I have mine, but tell me yours because I'm gonna see if mine is too much. Go
Mine's
ahead.
is I started growing this one piece of hair out of this nipple right here.
Stop.
Right? And I was like, am I getting
You
a hairy
got you.
chest? Wait. And to this day, that's the only piece of hair on my chest. That one piece of hair growing out of my nipple over here.
No, that's a good thing. You don't need. You not. You don't want.
Brittany, I was like, oh shit, I might be getting some hair on my chest, and then I got nothing. Just that one piece kept getting longer, and to this day, it is the only piece of hair on my chest. And every once in a while, huh?
Is it still there?
Yeah, every once in a while I get a wild hair in my ass. I might be hungover or something. I'll be like, yank it out, and then it grow back. But it's the only piece of hair I ever get on my entire chest.
Oh my God.
I mean, you asked. We share things here, Brittany. We share things, which means now it's your turn.
Okay. Oh man. All right. All right. Well, it's the only one I can remember, so we have to go with this story. So as a teen, I remember.
How old were you?
I was, okay. I was in middle school, so I was like 13, 14. No, like 12 or 13.
Okay.
I don't freaking know. All I know is that one morning I woke up. First of all, I don't even know how to say this. It's so weird.
You got an open line of communication to me. I'm not judging
whatever.
you. I am not judging you.
Listen, I'm only going to say it because if some other little girl sees this out here, I want you to know it's normal. But one day I woke up, I don't even know, my nipples were so itchy and I could not, they would not stop itching.
Wait a minute. What does it mean if your nipples itch? Does that mean something?
I freaked out, Ekin. I was like, what is going on? Like, it won't stop itching. And these are I didn't understand. And I was so afraid to ask my mom because I was like, I hadn't done anything, but still I'm like, what's wrong with my body? Am I about to lose my nipples? Like, are they gonna?
She said, am I about to lose my nipples?
I didn't know. And then I asked my mom, finally I was so scared that I just was like, I screamed. I was like, Mom! And she runs over what? And I'm like, I don't know. My nipples are itchy. And she was like, I don't even think she really, she was just like, you're fine.
Let me ask you a question. Being that you're from Latin background, did y'all talk did that happen in Spanish, Spanglish, or English?
It happened in English, but that was like one of the few conversations we ever had about like, yeah.
So what did you put on your nipples? Did you put alcohol on them? Like put some kind of lotion on them, some kind of a cream? Like how did you get your nipples to stop itching? That is the question right now.
That's a great question. I think it just on its own, because I don't remember my mom helped really like doing anything about it. I think she was just like, you're fine, that's normal.
What's normal about nipples itching?
The next day it was done.
So they itched the entire 24 hours?
Well, I would say most of the day.
So okay. Just a curiosity thing. You went to school, right? And your nipples itching. How you scratch them?
Dang, you gotta do one of these with like your wrist, or like you gotta adjust your shirt. That's what you do.
So all day you just adjusting your shirt? All day you like this shirt don't fit right. All day?
I'm like, man, this bra is like, oh, it's crazy. This bra, I got to throw it out.
Wait, you had on a bra? You were wearing a bra by then?
Yes, it wasn't.
I didn't know if your nipples started itching early before anything else happened. I didn't know how it went. I didn't know the order.
Definitely, it was definitely at least a small, like training bra. But I don't know why that was the only story I remember is like the weird thing where I was like, what's going on with my body? But I didn't really have anyone to speak to, and that's why
But honestly, think about it. Your mom did listen, then she was like, "Girls, nothing wrong with you. Go to school."
Yeah,
and stop scratching.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, it's just I don't know.
I can imagine telling my grandmother that when she was living. My grandmother would be like, "Did you wash, boy?" That's my grandmother's. Did you wash, boy? Like all the time. Like do Latin grandparents have like the same things as like black grandparents? Black grandparents got certain things. Like the minute I feel like my lips get a little bit like chapped a little bit, if my mom would be like, every phone call my mom, because it's been passed down, you drinking enough water? I'm like, what you mean? She said, because we can tell if you're not drinking no water because your lips get chapped. Like, what the? You're not even here. You're not even here. But my grandma used to always say that. Like, boy, if you drink some damn water, your lips wouldn't be chapped. What? Why can't I just put some chapstick on them?
Dude, my mom was a queen of just like, man, like everything you did was like, you did it to yourself. Like, or she'd make you feel worse. She'd be like, so like, let's just say you messed up or something, right? You went and got a bad grade. Oh, okay. Well, you could have been studying, like you didn't have to go all this, and now what are you gonna do? Like, she wouldn't give me no hope. She'd just be like, now you messed up, that's it, you're done. Like, now
you're gonna you just get ready to be an assistant manager at CVS the rest of your life. I'm sorry, like that's not a bad job. I shouldn't even have said that out loud. I'm sorry.
No, it's not.
But now you're thinking that might be your future. With your itchy, with your itchy nipples, right? With your itchy nipples and bad grades.
Bruh, my mom is but yeah, man. So my family was like that too. Everything is like, they will clown you, man. There's nothing they will not pick on you.
Okay, so look, I got one more thing too about my grandmother. My grandmother had broken her hip, like in a car accident, like a while. So she walked kind of like with a limp or whatever. So my grandmother if my grandmother ever like had to give one of us like a beating, because it wasn't no spanking down south, it was a beating. You got your ass beat, right? Yeah. And if you move too much, and they used to always say, if you move too much and your grandmother falls, you're gonna get your ass beat by every uncle, every aunt in your family. Were you ever scared of stuff like that in your family too?
One time I did drop my grandma on accident.
You dropped your grandmother? Okay. You are the worst grandchild ever. How you drop your grandma?
Because I was fighting with my cousin. She was chasing me, and so my grandma tried to protect me, and then my cousin ran into her and she fell, and it was just
Did both of y'all get beat?
Yes.
Bad,
both of us got. Yeah, my mom. You don't make grandma fall. Had to come and shame me, like, you dropped our mom, and it was like,
Look, just the way you saying it though, you dropped my mom. You dropped grandma, bro. Bro, you dropped grandma. Yo, seriously. You know what? Hey, you know what? You know what, your husband? I just want to come to your wedding, because when I get to stand up and make the toast, I'm be like, hey, bro, whenever y'all get in an argument, just remind her she dropped her grandmother, bro. She dropped her grandmother, bro.
Dude, I feel like the worst kid in the entire
You should feel like the worst kid right now. You dropped I have never heard of anybody dropping their grandmother.
Yeah, man. It was a devastating day. She was all right though, but still, you would have thought like, And I get it because if someone dropped my mom, if she was old, I would be very upset.
Did your uncles and aunts say that to you? Be like, you dropped my mom, yo.
Yes! Wow. They all wanted to beat my ass. You know all what? Of them.
You right up there with them ladies who tried to pay their kids' way in college. You right up there with them bad people. You right up there with those bad people. You dropped your grandmother, yo. Who drops a grandma?
I know.
And because she's Latin, she probably had on open-toe shoes, didn't she? She had like sandals or something? Yeah. Oh, so that means one shoe flew off and another one. Brittany, you going to hell, yo. You got an express pass to hell. You are not passing go. You are not collecting $200. You going right to hell. Wow.
I want to forget about that, but it's life. You live and you learn.
I appreciate you being open and honest on this show, Brittany.
I love you.
I love you more, Brittany. We'll get back to more fun. I just think that today's topic needed to be talked about. I think.
Oh my God, so much so.
And, so much so. Prayers go out though to everybody lost on that accident, and it's tragic though. It is tragic because what's really tragic too is that they were on their way to do a family activity together. That's what's also tragic. Like you're like you said earlier. You want these parents that are spending time with their kids and, that sort of thing and being positive role models in their lives. And on that plane, apparently, it was like more than just Kobe. It was other parents on there that were, doing the same thing with their kids. And,
yeah, man. And
that just teaches us, though, life is short. Enjoy every moment with the people you love. And Ellen said this the other day. Smile at the lady at the DMV. She's human. You know what I'm saying? No matter how long you've been in that line, smile at the lady at the DMV. That's why seriously, you think I'm playing with you. That's why the people at Chick-fil-A gonna live a long ass time. You think I'm playing? Why? Let me tell you something. That my pleasure. How can I serve you? I was at another drive-through today. You know what the girl said to me? What? Go ahead.
Go ahead. You know what? See, and I'm finding more and more. Yeah, I believe you. I know because I've been.
I just ain't gonna call nobody out. But she literally, I pulled up. I had to wait a second because I was like, there ain't nobody else in this line. Why is it taking so long?
You.
And then she finally hit me with a, go ahead. I was like, well, I was seeing that Chick-fil-A.
I am gonna go ahead right through this drive-through. Never mind. Thank you. You don't order from places like that. They don't care. They don't care.
So we should. So that's how you seriously. I don't know if I could just drive through though, because I really No, I ain't calling the place out, but I really wanted some of that spicy chicken today. I ain't calling them out, but I really wanted some of that spicy chicken. I just had a taste for it, and those mashed potatoes and gravy. The sweet tea was just okay, but that mashed potatoes and gravy and that spicy chicken. I mean, it was in an orange and white box, but I ain't calling nobody out. I'm just saying it was good as hell.
It was worth that. Yeah. Go ahead.
It was, yeah. I had because I had the spicy. I had crumbs all over me when I finished, but I ain't gonna call nobody out. So I had to sweep them all back in that orange and white box when I was done and fold the box up and put it in that plastic bag. But she was like, go ahead. She didn't even, it wasn't no my pleasure. She did, honestly, in her defense, she did say thank you and you're welcome like that. So she did. So
she made up for it, I guess.
They working. Girl, Brittany, I'm gone, man. I'm gonna go and try not to knock nobody's grandma down today.
Thank you. Please don't stay away from grandmas, man.
What you doing this week, Brittany? Oh, and one more thing before you go. Your first Gasparilla? How was it?
Oh my God, Gasparilla was so, dude. Okay, first of all, I held it together. Ooh, I was like, I was having pep talks with myself, like, Britt, you cannot get wasted this time of your day drinking. You gotta hold out, right? So I let everybody else get drunk around me. It was so much fun. I saw drunk girls. I saw boobs. I saw girls barefoot. By the way, I saw one comeback story. All right, happened right before my eyes. One girl, her shoes were missing. She was out on the freaking pavement, right, with no shoes on, big coat, whatever. An hour, I said, okay, she's done. An hour later, she had her shoes back on. Her shoes were back on. What? And her shoes were nowhere in sight. It's not like they were in her hands. You know what I'm saying? Those shoes were gone. She found her shoes. She put them back on and she was chilling.
Is that what y'all call? Is that what? I've never heard the comeback story. Is that what females call the comeback story?
So, most of the time you don't come back. Once you're gone, you know what I'm saying? Like you're gone.
Let me tell you something, man. I thought I learned a lot having sisters. Doing this show with you, I am learning so much about how the females move. I was missing some things. So you had fun. Man. And for everybody who doesn't know, who may be listening in different areas, Gasparilla is a big pirate invasion party that happens in Tampa, and it goes on all day. And I think we started at like 8 in the morning.
Oh my God. You started at 8 in the morning.
That's because I'm the energy god. Energy god. But you, Brittany, You tapped out on me. You tapped out on me, Brittany. And I've never heard this one either, Jason. Have you ever heard this one? Ekin, we need to go. My feet are on fire. I've never heard that one before.
What do you mean? That one, I was like, Ekin, I'm hungry. Ekin, I'm tired. My eyes were starting to cross. This was 1 a.m. though. I was out since 1 p.m. that day. So I was last hour. That's when my eyes started wobbling. I was like, it's time to go.
I didn't even know your eyes could wobble. Yo, I learned so much that day. Feet are on fire. I get that you're hungry because that happens a lot. Then it was like my eyes are like crossing and my eyes are wobbling. I was like, how does that even happen?
Oh, I felt them doing when they started doing this, and you're like, oh man, I'm gonna be that drunk passed out girl at the bar.
Meanwhile, I'm just on stage drinking every Bud Light seltzer that comes my way.
Oh my, Ekin was having the time of his life on stage. I'm trying to survive. I'm like, is he gonna be ready anytime soon? Like, does he not see me dying here? I'm low, man. I got no more ammo.
It's a good time, man. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed your first Gasparilla, and next time we'll invite more people to come and hang with us because I just want more feet to be on fire. It's such a good time. Southern Hospitality, man. DJ Ekin, of course, and the lovely Miss Brittany Gonzalez. Brittany, let's try to have a non-tragic week, right? Let's try to have that.
Let's try that. Let's go for that this week. That's true. Yes.
And kiss the ones you love. No, don't blow a kiss here. Not that. But like, because I know you love me. I got it. Yes, I do. I know you love me. I got it. I love you back. And are you going to Super Bowl or just are you going to parties?
Woo! I think I'm gonna try to go to Miami this weekend. I might have a ticket to Gronk's party in Miami. But I don't know, man. So yes.
So are you gonna try to meet Gronk?
You know, if he's there, I mean, I might. No, I don't know, man. I don't know. Listen, I was about to say I'll do whatever. I didn't even mean it like that. I meant I'll do if I can meet Gronk. I'm gonna try to meet Gronk.
Within
Let's
reason.
just stop talking about Gronk.
Okay.
Within reason. Within reason.
We gone, man. Listen to the Southern Hospitality Podcast wherever you get your podcast out in the podcast universe. Everywhere. And hopefully Brittany will let us put her all in the story of her Miami antics. That should be awesome.
Oh yes. Yes. I'll be out there.
We gone, man. Southern Hospitality, man. We gone.
Bye.